Throughout my school years, I've had my fair share of exotic teachers, even when I got to college. I'm talking about I've experienced it all, bruh. I had this one 10th grade teacher back in high school that was a level 99 Karen. Nobody took her serious. If you don't know what a Karen is by now, you either been snorting bubbles under a rock your whole life, or you been up there passing ganja around in the mountains with Aang and the air nomads. We're not gonna use her real name, we're gonna call her Miss Yummers, because this lady was built like Snorlax and loved stuffing her face with the peanut stash she had under her desk. I ain't never seen a woman more in love with swallowing nuts as she did. Ain't nobody take the gun serious because she would always talk about her cats, always make these corny jokes that nobody laughed at. Like, who you think you is? Chris Rock. And the worst of it all, she overreacted to everything, every second of every minute of every hour. A squared plus B squared equals... E? We've went over these notes 69 times. Some people learn faster than others, but it seems like y'all the slow class. So I'm gonna ask y'all one more time. A squared plus B squared equals F. A squared plus B squared equals... Whoa, old lady, dang, not the J's. A black man's kryptonite. Good thinking, Miss Yummers. And her overreacting would always piss us off. So, like the little delinquents we were, we will always be in class making it our mission to piss her off. Hey, Miss Yummers, you heard of that new kid Malong coming to class today? Malong did. And cause of all of that, we never took her serious. She never could get us to behave. All cause she overreacted to everything. I mean, what could you expect from a bunch of easily influenced teenagers, bruh? Home training went out the window when we got to class, especially the gym class. We was cutting up. Let me catch one of my friends or classmates back then shacking a fool or causing fun ignorance in class. I'm about to act up too. Bruh, it got so bad to the point where one day she did the absolute most to make us behave. So that day, I was walking down the 10th grade hallway to Miss Yummers' class, and I heard a crowd of people making noise down the hallway where Miss Yummers' room was. And my first instinct was to run towards the crowd, because in every high school ever, if it's a crowd making noise in a place that's supposed to be quiet, then 9 times out of 10, it's a fight. And I don't know about you, but I love school fights. That hoe be lit. Who breaking it up? Not me. Let them hoes fight. I just can't wait till we go to lunch so we can all talk about it at the lunchroom table. Fights back then were like the equivalent of a Super Bowl. Had the whole school jumping out the gym. Had everybody talking. So I get to the crowd and the first thing I see is Miss Yummers. And apparently, shorty moving around like she in the clouds, off that ganja, high as mountain ankles. Now, at first, I'm thinking like, cap. But then I thought to myself, I don't blame her. All the stress we be putting her through, I wouldn't be surprised. Old man Larry must have let her puff that before she got to work or something, because whatever she was puffing on had her doing the 2-step without even moving her legs. So she was sitting there for like 20 minutes waddling back and forth like a penguin and humming Negro spirituals, making a straight fool of herself. 20 minutes fly by, the crowd died down, everybody go back to class. We all hype into class. You know how lit classrooms be after something go down. Miss Yummers get back to her desk, and when she do, she talking about, all right now class, calm down. If you want me to keep acting like this, then you need to behave. You fake that? Nah, that's crazy. See, me personally, mid. Yo, she cap. Couldn't be me. Yo, you mad OD, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way. You know, somewhere in another city, on another planet, at another timeline, there was another me hating on this lady too. All shawty had to do was just get real stoic and put some bass in her voice or something. You ain't had to do all that, old lady. Bruh, she was sitting there for a smooth 15 minutes on the hushy, didn't say a word. That was the most awkward 15 minutes of my life. So back at school, I used to be on the football team. And you know what really grinded my gears more than the practice itself? The locker rooms before and after practice. Yes, the most toxic place in all of humanity. But why, Devonte? Because it was like prison. Once the coach let everybody get dressed or wash up in the showers and shut them doors. Come out to play. And that's one of the reasons why I hated locker rooms. And oh, trust me, there's more. So first off, it was like a fucking jungle every time I walked in. There was always somebody at the top of the food chain trying to devour the weakest link in the food chain, i.e. the douchebags picking on the weakest targets. You leave your locker open and they think you won't do nothing about it, get what? Took. They turn off the lights and they think you can't defend yourself, get what? Smack. If you don't, in 30 seconds to a minute, get in, do what you gotta do, and get out quickly, get what? Harass. The douchebags did everything in their power to make those 30 minutes to an hour living anarchy. But the madness doesn't stop here. Man, I remember a couple times in the locker room, bruh, this nigga AZ, you know, the little dude from this story I told y'all about before he eventually quit for the basketball team full time, dude whipped out his cock in front of everyone, walked around and was like, if you look, you gay.
Boy, ain't no fucking way.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Boy, ain't no way.
This nigga serious?
Then right afterwards, Buddy proceeds to pull out his cheeks, walks around and was like, if you look, you gay.
Boy, ain't no fucking way.
Hey, yo, what the fuck? This nigga serious?
Yep. Sounds about Aiden Ross. Hold on. It doesn't stop here. Grab a towel, cause it's about to get slimy in here. Another thing I hated about the locker rooms was the fact that during the showers, the douchebags always came unprepared. Man, I had a nigga come up to me one time while I was opening my bottom locker talking about some, hey, you got some soap? And of course I didn't. Even if I did, you ain't getting it. Yeah, I'm selfish. So I turned my head around to tell him no. And the first thing I see in my personal space, towering over me, was his big black body.
I am disgusted.
You know how many times that happened to me, bruh? Niggas was asking me for towels, soaps, clothes, all while being booty butt naked. It got to the point where I was just like,
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
you know what made things even worse? I had beef with everybody. But why is that, Devonte? Because they all treated me like a waste of sperm despite being in the middle of the food chain. So I matched their energy and they didn't like that. Man, I had beef with the coaches, my teammates, the support team. The equipment manager wanted to fight me because I called his assistant's BS out about her having this big attitude. Like, I don't know why the nigga wanted to fight me over the truth. Over there built like a tree stump with a grass allergy. It wasn't my fault your little chihuahua had anger issues. I had them too growing up, but you don't see me foaming at the mouth anymore at everything everybody does.
Why you on my dick? Word.
Somebody say something stupid now, I just hit them with the Rise of Deception out on all platforms now, bro. I had so much beef with everybody that you would have thought I wrote the lyrics for that Playboy Cardi song. Like, it was beef I didn't even want. All I wanted to do was mind my business and go about my day being unproblematic and outspoken. But nah, I had to deal with all these lame ass, ugly, Crash Bandicoot body ass, goof ass people harassing me because of my social status or whatever they thought about me. But you know what? It's alright though. A little dirt don't hurt because it fertilizes a strong mind. So whenever I got the chance, I took out all my anger on the field. Somebody come get this man an ice pack. Yeah. That's a raw description of what I went through in the locker rooms back in school. If I could go back though, things would be a lot different, which would kind of be a bad thing because all of that made me who I am today. I guess that goes into the, little dirt don't hurt, you know what I'm saying? Oh! So back at the start of middle school, I became associates with these two big, sloppy, Pop-Tart body-built, kangaroo pouch smelling ass delinquents that used to take advantage of my easily peer-pressured, overly nice prepubescent mind. We're not gonna use their real names, we're gonna call them Trevor and Amber. They were associates, not friends, but associates, as in I only associated myself with them for whatever reason. Y'all know how it goes growing up. You meet somebody that you got something in common with, which sparks an instant connection. After spending some time with each other, y'all think y'all SpongeBob and Patrick, when in reality, y'all barely know each other, cause y'all ain't went through nothing. These two will always do the craziest shit and drag me in the mix through peer pressure with the magic sentence, stop being a pussy. And it always used to work on me back then because I was scared of them judging me and I didn't have a backbone to tell them no. I mean, what else can you expect from a mentally unstable 13-year-old with little to no life experience? Like, bro, by that point, my nuts didn't even drop. One day, we was all sitting in math class. My musty coffee breath smelling ass teacher, Miss Turner, decides to be such a comedian that she jokes on Trevor's big ass head when she told him to come to the board. She like, whoa, be careful, don't fall. I know you got a good head on your shoulders. Everybody started laughing at him. This boy Trevor was such a savage that he like, Crazy you said that, cause I told your daughter the same thing last night. Everybody like, oh, no, he didn't. Cause she had a daughter 2 classrooms down. She got so butthurt that she gave that boy detention after school, which makes no sense to me, cause how you gonna punish somebody for something you started and gonna expect them to just sit there and take it, you delusional heifer? Like, calm down, Betty. Just cause old man Alfred ain't hitting it no more don't mean you gotta take out your anger on a 13-year-old. I guess this is what began his Belmont arc, because that boy Trevor took it to heart and wanted revenge. He get back to his seat, he like, you wanna talk about my head? Bet. I got something for you, old hag. Amber heard it and was like, yeah, we got something for you, Betty. What we got? Bruh, Amber was the most annoying out of the two, cause she was a meat grinder. Everything he said, she went with and hyped it up. Fucking groupie. Like, she had less of a backbone than me. If he told her, leave a on the bed, no hesitation. If he told her, bite his finger off, no hesitation. Like, calm down, Alexis, Texas. Don't reverse cowgirl him too hard. He looks over to me, he like, we finna do her dairy. You down? I'm like, we're gonna give her spoiled milk? No, numbnuts. Since she like her job so much, we're gonna teach her a lesson. He gets out a pencil and paper and slides me a note. It says, wait. You're joking, right? Do I look like a joke? Are you down? Yes. That's what I thought. We started lunch. Something in my spirit just didn't feel right about this. Like, I wasn't okay with this at all, but I was more scared of how they viewed me than the repercussions of my actions after all of this would go down. So fast forward, 12:30 hits. Trevor's like, y'all know what time it is. I mean, I could go look at the clock real quick. Yeah, we finna do her dairy. I mean, they got chocolate milk in the lunchroom. Y'all trying to go check that out? Stop being a pussy. Trevor took advantage of the fact that Miss Turner never did roll call when going to lunch. So everybody gets up to go to lunch in a single file line with Miss Turner at the front leading the pack, all 3 of us in the back of the line. And as soon as we got out of sight of Miss Turner, we all stopped and turned back around into the class. Trevor locked the door. He tells me to stay by the door for the lookout and Amber to go get a pencil while he gets the hand sanitizer. Whole time, I am losing my mind. I only knew bad things could result from this. They get to her counter where her cup of coffee's at, and he starts aggressively pouring the hand sanitizer in her coffee while Amber stirs it. Like, bro wanted the bottle empty. At this point, I can physically feel the shit falling out my anus because I was so scared. Next thing I know, I hear footsteps that sounded like heels aggressively walking down the hallway. I start panicking. I'm like, hey, y'all, she's coming back. Hold on, I'm almost done. I can feel the footsteps getting closer and closer. My anxiety shooting through the roof. It was so bad to the point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it, and hid under the desk without them noticing me. Next thing I know, run. Hey, Miss Turner chased both of them around the entire room. Mind you, this lady is 56 with back problems. Shorty ain't seen a physical therapist since Soul Train. While they were getting chased by a 56-year-old with bionicle knees, my little ass was trying to make sure she won't be woo-walking with Harriet Tubman. Amber and Trevor managed to make it out of the room and ran down the hallway trying to make it outside, and almost did, until Miss Turner stops, takes off her heels, gets down like a runner, a track star. Usain bolts over to Trevor and Amber and tackles them down like an NFL player. That was totally wicked. Craziest thing I seen that year. Like, bro, she may be 56, but her knees were 21. No, for real, she was a cold Tony. Bruh, I had little time to spare, so I took advantage of this opportunity. I dumped the poison coffee in the trash, sat it on the floor, tipped over to make it look like they knocked it over, Sly Coopered my way to the lunchroom and acted like I was in the bathroom the whole time. Did they drag me in later after they got 10 T-bowed? Yes, she was crazy. I really redshirt guyed his shit. He was there with us. You can't prove that. You gotta believe me. I'm not lying. You just tried to poison me. Why would I believe anything that come out your mouth? Miss Turner, he was literally our lookout. What you talking about? I was in the bathroom taking a fat one. I even ran out of tissue. I know. Go check the cameras. Yeah, go check the cameras. Shut up, Amber. Boy, this isn't the time to be framing people for something they didn't do. Plus, the school don't even have cameras yet. They're getting installed 2 months from now. What a time, my damie. So they got sent to alternative school after this, and I ain't seen them since. Before they left, though, I was like, imagine trying to do such blasphemy like poison the teacher. Couldn't be me. There once was a time where being a nerd was not cool to the general public. Nah, for real, bro. Like, where I'm from, if you wasn't doing drugs, making babies, and listening to rap music 24/7, you were considered a lame. Literally, y'all new kids growing up right now got it made, because I grew up with the people who paved the way for all y'all pampered degenerates to even have the luxury of publicly liking anime, being a gamer, LARPing, all the above. Like, I don't think y'all understand how bad we nerds had it growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, bruh. You know how many times I wanted to come to school with a Pokeball just to figure out I can't catch them all? I think this thing malfunctioned or something. I'ma head out. And y'all forbid you come to school with the whole pack on. You know how many times I wanted to come to school with an Assassin's Creed robe on? With a box of Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Naruto running down the hallway thinking like an anime character without getting tormented by people? Man, watch where you going. Ugly, big-headed little running into me and leaving the most quintessentially vulnerable place a man has open? What a fool. He doesn't have a clue that I played dirty. I have approximately 3.2 seconds until this uncultured swine finishes his condescending sentence and puts his disgusting hands on me. But little does he know, I already calculated the amount of force times the distance to make some my back. Yeah, that happened a lot in middle school. And since that was the case outside the house, our only peace was at the house or with other like-minded nerds. And it was worse when that's what you were known for around school as the clique you were associated with. Like the torment from people that thought they were better than you never stopped. Which that ideology never made sense to me because everybody at school wasn't even that much different. Like, bro, you're ridiculing me for watching anime, but you watch Family Guy and 106 in Park. It's all media. Make it make sense. Lucky for me, I'm a nerd that didn't associate with just one clique. I tried to fit in with as many people as I could, which was the worst and best decision I ever made, because not only did it make me socialize more, in result gaining positive connections with certain people in whatever clique, but it also toughened me up. Nah, for real, let me take y'all back to a time in high school where gaining a connection with somebody in a different clique went in my favor.
About to get your pickle chin ass boy.
I know you ain't talking, ugly bug-eyed little boy. That's why your mama gave me that good.
They go and call me that
Boy,
boy.
really about to get on your...
Oh, head on your dirt ass, but stink ass, but afro head
And
ass.
what you laughing at, crow feet? Your toes be throwing up crip and blood. Yep, that was usually how it went. It was 11th grade year of high school. I was sitting at a place during lunch where my presence was not appreciated nor wanted. The football players' table. See, I was a football player too, but remember, to them, I was the outcast and not cool in their eyes, so they just tolerated my presence, which didn't stop me from trying to fit in back then, because I was hard-headed. My urge to fit in was so strong that I just always put myself in stressful situations that I shouldn't have been in the first place. See, in my head, everybody at that table saw me as the gum under their shoe, all because of the torment majority of them caused me for years. But on that day, one product of oppression made my perception of the me against the world ideology change forever. We ain't finna use his real name, we finna call him Rico. So I'm sitting there targeted for a joke, thinking of something to say back, cause I knew I was finna get 1v5, especially if I didn't say something back. And I ain't no hoe, so regardless of the outcome, I'm swinging back. So me and my opposition start roasting each other. Of course I was losing because they were all biased towards the guy, but I was taking all the hits, chest up, 10 toes, and I was okay with it because I knew I was doomed to fail from the start. So I mean, well, Devonte, why do you think that way? That's so negative. Bruh, because everybody knows all roast sessions win depend on how many laughs you can get out of the audience. And hello, don't know if you noticed, but I was getting 1v5 without the other 4 saying a single word. They had snot bubbles and tears running down their face, bruh. I was not winning that. The only way I would have won is if my jokes were so funny that they superseded the audience's bias. And my jokes wasn't that funny, my boy. Bruh, the situation got so sticky that my opposition decided decided to get validation feedback from people in the audience. He looked at Rico. Mind you, Rico was a known hood dude at our school that was feared and respected by everybody. If you looked at him, you would think all he did was pop pills, gang, and slang that iron. He like, hey Rico, this man Devonte watch anime, bruh. That Dragon Ball stuff. That junk's so lame. I mean, I like it too. Bruh, when I tell y'all, the entire table got quiet. It was so quiet, you could hear Casper shooting dice in the corner. They were speechless. Like, they literally couldn't process a dude like Rico actually accepting and liking something they deemed as lame. I was even speechless myself. Like, I too couldn't process this one time in my life that a dude I barely talked to jumped in and saved me instead of letting me get ate up or joined in. Bruh, y'all don't understand the respect and admiration I have for this dude in that moment, bruh. Cause even with his specific status, he stood 10 toes on what he liked and didn't care about the backlash. My mind went from me against the world to me against some of the world. Rico even doubled down. He was like, yeah, they be fighting and knocking folks through mountains, blasting beams out their hands and stuff, blowing up planets and flying. Yeah, all that. Yep. Table still quiet. Almost every person sees fire. Like, they look like they had to reevaluate themselves because that different perspective and thought process was new to them. I guess they were just so used to people automatically being sheep and agreeing with them that it just really messed them up in the head. And as for me, I felt a high sense of shalom. And since that day, I never forgot Rico. In fact, years later, after graduation, I saw him at a store parking lot and caught up on life with him. It was surprising too, because I was in my hometown and I just ran into him randomly all these years later, which I kind of knew that was gonna happen because I was in my hometown. So it's been like 6 or 7 years since I seen and chopped it up with him in that parking lot. So I hope he's doing well. I know I ain't use your real name, but if you're watching this and you remember that day, just know you still all right with me, homie. All praise to the Most High, y'all.
Hey, listen.
All right, y'all. So this story happened when I was 16 years old, back in 2016. I am 22 right now. That year was pretty interesting because, you know, I got my first car, crashed it a week later. I got assaulted by a stressed out 40-year-old. I got my first job. I got called a Nick. You finish that sentence. By my best friend's dad. Watched as my mom almost beat the fuck out of my principal. You feel me? Like a lot of shit went down, you feel me? However, I don't think any of those will top what happened during the day of the fire drill. I remember it like it was yesterday because everything went left, like cha-cha slide left. Now, I don't know what type of black Air Forces I was smoking back then, but it must have been the high tops because I was on menace timing. My bad, when it came to football, of course. Shoot, it wasn't my fault. The hate I was getting was slowly making me savage. I was always on menace timing during football because of the simple fact that me and the players, the staff too, we didn't really get along. I wasn't one of the popular people. I was the underdog. I wasn't gang, so I couldn't hang. I was at like the middle of the food chain, so every chance they got, they tried to hold me for no damn reason. I'm just trying to drink some chocolate milk and go back to class. Leave me alone. Everybody on that damn team had me going through character development, especially in the locker rooms. But you know what? I wasn't no meow. They was giving me hell, so I gave them hell back. Oh yeah, I was quiet, but little did they know, I was one of the biggest trash talkers up in there. And I was one of the top 5 strongest people up in there. And best believe I used that to my advantage, because every time I was provoked, I would counter provoke them 10 times harder, and they would get pissed every time. Which makes no sense to me, because don't open the door and be afraid of what's gonna come out. Like, I knew what I was doing. I knew the consequences, but I ain't give a fuck. Which brings us back to the day of the fire drill. Oh my gosh, bruh. I got so sick of their shit, nigga. I remember it was like English or math. I can't remember which class it was, but it was a fire drill and they told everybody to go outside in the fields and chill out till everything settled. The little alarm started going off, woo, woo, so we all get to stepping. We all get down to the soccer fields, right? And it was like this fence that separated everybody. Like whatever side of the school you came out of, that's the side you were gonna be on. I get to the fence, right? Big chillin'. I ain't trying to bother nobody. Next thing I know, I hear a crowd of hooligans trying to intimidate me for no damn reason. At this point, looking back on it, I think they were just bored. Or they probably felt like I was an easy target that they could just pick on and make themselves look good in front of everybody else. And they just got to quacking off at the mouth. I'm talking about, oh, you're trash. Raka, 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 raka. We'll beat your ass. Blah, 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 blah. We'll blah, blah, blah. Wooka, wooka, wooka. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there like, damn. So this is where my villain origin story begins, huh? And me and majority of the team already had beef. Like, I ain't like none of them niggas. I ain't want no peace from anybody because it was impossible. I was the outcast. I only had a select few people in there that I actually enjoyed talking to, like, no new friends, no new friends, no new. I stayed down from day one. So I rebuttal back with all the smoke. I'm like,
Man, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Nobody asked you how to bitch ass thing. You better shut the fuck up before I knock your fucking head off your shoulders, old ugly ass bitch.
man, y'all, they looked at me like, how dare you? As if I'm not supposed to talk my shit back, like, make it make sense. If A plus B equals C, then what the fuck y'all want me to do? So then the dude in the middle, Cam, the all-star athlete that had everybody on his dick, he was like, who you think you talking to? You do realize we can jump you. The only thing saving you right now is this fence. Number one, you came for me first. Number two, y'all really think I cared if a fence was separating me? I don't care if these niggas was on the same side as me. I would've did the same thing. I don't care. Cause I ain't have nothing to lose. I don't fight to fight. I fight to kill. Like, before that day, I let a lot of things slide, but at that very moment, I threw all that out the window. Like, this wasn't no movie. The smart thing to do was to just walk away. But then I thought to myself, what if this was a movie? What I said afterwards basically went like this.
Look, you, the plane you flew in on, them shoes, those socks with the bell on it, your ass fairy accent, them cheap ass cigars, your yuck mouth teeth, your hairpiece, your chocolate, Guy Ritchie, Prince William, the Queen. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
Bruh, I'll probably never forget what Cam said afterwards. Probably, like, nigga, I'm getting flashbacks. My head's starting to hurt hearing it again. He was like, you know what? We're gonna jump you after school. Matter of fact, we're gonna do it during school and nobody's gonna do anything about it. And I knew exactly when he was talking about. He was talking about third period football workouts. The period where when my coach shut that door, anything was bound to happen. Now you think I would be nervous and scared, but no. It was quite the opposite. I was ready to die on that hill and take a couple bodies with me. In the moment, I really thought I was on some anime shit. Like, bro, I was ready to give everybody the Mickey Mouse. Like, nigga, what? You want some? You trying to fight me? You know how I do to niggas? I didn't choose thug life. Thug life chose me. Subconsciously, I knew that was impossible. There was just too many of them. I knew I couldn't take on every single person that was gonna try to jump me that day, but like I said, I was ready to throw it all away. Cause you get to a point where you just tired of being tired, bro. Like, you tired of being a doormat. Like, get off my dick. I knew they were dead serious. That's why I wanted to leave there on a 20 kill streak. And I'm not playing fair. I'm playing dirty. If I'm going 6 feet under, I'm gonna take somebody with me. I don't care if I had to pick up a dumbbell, a 10-pound weight. Nigga, I'm not fighting with these hands. Fuck I look like? Meliodas? Saitama? Mikey? Rock Lee? Niggas getting these motherfucking weapons. Shoot, you would have saw me in there swinging the blades of exile if I had the chance. Shout out my boy Kratos. So fast forward the next day, third period rolls around, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Was I nervous? Not really. I was more focused than I ever have been in my life. Nigga, I was ready to throw it all away. I was ready to bring the shovel and karate cut these niggas. There was a pathway that everybody had to go through that leads to the pathway to the door that leads into the facility. I'm gonna try my best to map it out for y'all. I get to pathway 1, and so far, the ghost is clear. But everything changed when I got to pathway 2. I remember this vividly. I get around the corner, I see the door wide open, and by 6 of my teammates poking their head out waiting for me. They wasn't even saying nothing. They was just staring at me. Niggas was standing there like some NPCs. I'm thinking to myself like, So this is where my villain origin story progresses. I see Cam walk up and he's just staring at me, waiting on me too. Like, this is really about to go down. It was not lying when they said nobody was here to save me, because that nigga Coach Addison was in his office, which was on the other side of the building. But you know what? I called they bluff. So I get to walking up there and I'm like, bro, first person to touch me, bro, I'm finna go. Whole time I'm on a Nardo Wick type beat. No one smoke on me. Who won't smoke with me? Like, bro, I was on it. I get past the 6 guys and Cam, right? And oddly, they didn't touch me when I walked inside, but they were still just staring at me. Like, can you say sneak attack? When I got inside, it was like a 2-way. One side on the left leading to the facility that you do all the equipment and training, and the turf was there, and the other side leading to the locker room, and it was 3rd period. So of course I'm gonna take a left and go to the facility with the turf and the equipment. Like, nigga, we're finna work out right after this. But right now, I'm finna get a pre-workout. You feel me? I walk into the facility, right? Guard still up. I'm about 15 steps in. Next thing I know, while I'm walking, I hear about 30, 40 footsteps behind me. I'm like, oh, brother. I guess this is where my villain origin story peaks. I turn around, bro, and before I can get my bag off of my back, bro, I get speared by Cam. Nigga really hit me with the you. Nigga threw me to the ground with my bag on, right? I somehow get my bag off and we get the scrapping, bro. And we wasn't even fighting for real. We was just grabbing each other and slamming each other to the ground each time. Like, bro, mind you, this nigga is 6'3". I was 5'6". I am still 5'6" to this day. I was just a tad bit stronger than him, just a tad bit. The only advantage he had over me was arm length, and that's about it. Whole time in my mind while I'm fighting this nigga, right, or slamming this nigga, like, what are we doing, WWE? I'm thinking to myself like, hold up, didn't y'all say all y'all was gonna jump me? There's only one person here. Like, I'm not even kidding, bro. Everybody else in the hallway was just sitting there watching us fight. Like, oh, I know what's going on here. It's a bunch of p***s in here. Y'all said y'all was gonna do it. Stand on it. The only thought running through my head when I saw that when I was fighting this nigga was,
Smell like this in here. All y'all smell like this to me.
3 minutes later, Coach Anderson walks in and breaks up the fight. He puts them on punishment. Oh yeah, 50 gassers. Football people know. He sends me to class scotch-free, but I'm still pissed off. Whole time in my head, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right about this. You're punishing them, but not me. Wait, did we have cameras? And did you watch them do this? If that was the case, Addison, you a hoe for that. Fast forward next day, Spanish class. I remember it like it was yesterday. I will not use this nigga's real name. We're just gonna call him Darren. Darren walks up to me, and this is a person that I, number one, don't talk to a lot. Number two, is a part of the same clique that was like, oh, I'm gonna jump you. But I ain't do nothing but just sit there and watch. I was in the back of the class, right? Darren walks up to me, he's like, if you ever talk about our squad again, we'll come for you. And he did it behind my ear, which made me even more pissed, like he was trying to intimidate me or something. Bro, when I tell you, I turned to this nigga, looked him in his eye in front of everybody and was like, who the fuck are you talking to? Shut your ass up before I rip your spine out of your body. Teacher looked at me so crazy, I think he knew what was up because he ain't do nothing about it. Darren didn't say nothing afterwards. He just got up and walked away. Ah, you must have expected a different answer. No. You picked the wrong one, my boy. Let me make this freaking clear. I know how to choose my battles wisely, especially now. However, I am not a tough guy by any means. I am a nerd to the core, but I am not gonna sit here and let no nigga beat me in front of everybody. That's not how I was raised. You know who still talked about their homies afterwards? Me. You know who didn't do a thing about it? Take a wild guess. Almost every school on the planet has had some type of trend occur that either died out, lived on, or was hanging on for dear life for a long time until a burnout. Some of mine growing up were Silly Bands, Beyblades, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Digimon, and Bakugan. Now, I don't know about some of you elementary school kids now, but when I was in elementary, these trends were pretty big deals, you know what I'm saying? No joke. The school I went to, they treated these trends like gangs, bruh. They moved in groups. Like, Bakugan came late in the game, so in the beginning, you were either a Pokemon kid, the people that kept a Game Boy on deck, because when it came to catching them all, they ain't play no games, boy. Hey, cuz, word on the street is you got that Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, listen to me, homie. I got that Charmander. 150. 150? I only got a bird on me, cuz. We can negotiate. You come to me, asking to buy a product you do not know about. 150. Take it or leave it. Tell you what, I'll up you a Jigglypuff and an Eevee for that Charmander, and I'll add on a pack of Smarties. You drive a hard bargain. Deal. But first, you're gonna have to see me outside, huh? A Yu-Gi-Oh kid, the people that kept that binder and that stack on them at all times. You would never catch a Yu-Gi-Oh kid without their deck on them. All you had to do was roll up on them and be like, your move. They get their game on, and if you wanted to win, you better play your cards right. Treesh. T-R-E.
It's time to do.
A Beyblade kid, the people that no one ever really bothered for real, but when that stadium came out, everyone was there faster than a white cop in a suburb. Digimon kids were like the same as Pokemon kids, but less played and more watched. What irked my soul even more was the fact that the two primary groups, Yu-Gi-Oh kids and Pokemon kids, that were supposedly united were actually divided. Like, for Pokemon, it was bad. Let you get caught repping a different set in the wrong hallway. You gonna end up like the fake Jordan kids. You get caught in the Johto region hallway repping a Kanto region, death. You get caught in the Hoenn region hallway repping the Sinnoh region, death. You get caught in the Unova region hallway repping the Johto region, death. At some point, just don't say nothing. For Yu-Gi-Oh, you were either a Slifer Red, Raw Yellow, or Obelisk Blue. If you were an Obelisk Blue, you were the best of the best and feared by everyone.
The fuck y'all looking at?
If you were a Raw Yellow, you weren't really feared, but niggas still didn't want smoke for real unless you were a seasoned Slifer ready to move up or an Obelisk. If you were an unseasoned Slifer, you were actually butt cheeks. These were all trends anime related that were taken seriously by 80% of my population at my school and lived on to this day. Hopefully. Now, the trends that weren't anime related, like silly bands, were trends that were mad popular for a long period of time, but died out because of regulations from administrators. Let me break it down for you. Silly bands had a ranking system. To keep it short, the more silly bands you had, the more popular you were. You got more silly bands by taking them from others through silly combat. Silly combat was a process in which two individuals put their bands on a flat surface and take turns flicking each other's bands until one person's band was on top of the opposing person's band. In conclusion, taking said person's band. And this usually took somewhere around 30 seconds to a minute. So basically, gambling? Pretty much. Taking somebody's silly band was like taking somebody's chain, but without the consequences. At the time, silly bands were more popular than all of them combined. Bruh, they were so popular to the point where administrators banned them from school because people would focus on silly bands more than school itself. I saw it everywhere. Instead of eating at lunch, silly bands. Instead of playing at PE, silly bands. In the bathrooms, silly bands. In the hallways, silly bands. You talk about Pokemon kids? No! Everybody was trying to catch them all. We was up in there collecting them silly bands like it was Infinity Stones. I remember the day they first banned silly bands. Students and faculty, if we see you with the silly band before, during, and after school, you will be written up and have them confiscated. Have a great day. And remember, go Pandas! Bruh, can you imagine being 10, trying to walk onto a school bus and two administrators just pull up and beat you up, drag you to the office, write you up, and take your silly bands? Couldn't be me. My mama probably would have poured water into their electric box. I don't know what we did to piss him off, but when everybody heard that, niggas did not stop for nobody. Silly bands became an underground operation after that. Everybody was moving in silence trying to collect them all. You know what I'm saying? We had to think smart when collecting and moving these illegal bands after that. We couldn't keep them on our wrist anymore. We couldn't battle in classrooms. Hallways or lunchrooms were forbidden. Anywhere was forbidden in the open. So everyone went to the one place that was sanctuary to every school. The school bathrooms. Everything was going just as planned. Whenever you wanted to battle for a silly band, somebody had you walk into the bathroom, present what you got, and battle it out. The operation went by smoothly and perfectly. We were trading illegal bands left to right without getting caught for a good little minute. Until a month later when somebody in our operation ratted us out and got us all written up. The trend eventually died, and we all went back to the other trends. It be your own people, man. It be your own people. Dang, I guess the moral of this story is, whatever you do in the dark will eventually come to light. I don't know. I guess I'm finna go drown myself in some orange juice. I'll see y'all later. Public bathrooms. I only use them if I have to. In fact, I try to avoid them at all costs because I don't know who, where, or what has went down in said bathroom. And if not cleaned properly, you never know what horrible things you might find in there, like diseases, rats, predators. Hey, how did you get in here? Maybe I'm just paranoid. I'm the type of person where I don't care where I'm at. If I have to use the bathroom really bad and the only place that's available is a public bathroom, I will try my best to hold it in until I get to the house, which is actually an extremely hard task because you ever held in a deuce so long that your stomach starts to hurt?
Oh, I don't know how to tell you this, sir, but there seems to be some sort of mass in your stomach, like some sort of rock or parasite.
What do you mean, Doc? All I did was hold in my crap.
I don't know if you believe in Jesus or not, but you better start praying to him because you're about to die.
Die?
Yes, we can start the operation immediately if you'd like.
Hey, Doc, I got those gut pliers for the operation you asked for. Doctor, what was the cause of his death? I guess he held in his crap too long. Well, that sounds like a crap ton of paperwork we gotta do. So back in 10th grade, one day I was sitting in my math class holding in a chocolate load trying to wait till I got home to drop this nuclear bomb in the Bermuda Triangle. And this was something I knew that was gonna happen because I decided to eat the chili with the beans 2 times over at lunch a couple hours prior. Like, I really hold myself, bruh. I wanted to use the bathroom so bad, but back then our bathrooms were atrocious, bruh. Like, they were clean, but they weren't clean. If you know, you know. Now don't get me wrong, the bathroom in school isn't just for dropping Snicker bars in toilets and splashing toxic body fluids into a tunnel. Only the real ones know that the school bathrooms are sanctuaries where all the magic happens. Well, unless you got Fleece Johnson in your class, then run. Take your time. Where I'm from, people used to shoot dice in the bathroom, people used to fight in the bathroom, people freestyled in the bathroom, people smoked crack in the bathroom. We didn't do that one in the bathroom, but still, by now you should know the vibes. The school bathroom was the place where we could all do what we wanted and have the highest chance of not getting caught by the administrators unless they walk in. And if you had a closed door public bathroom back at school, then get out of here, you privileged piece of shit. Hater alert! In the beginning of this, I really thought I could channel my inner Karapika and try to hide my power with the utmost confidence, believing that I could do it. So in the first 10 minutes of holding it in this 2-hour class period, easy, 20 minutes pass, piece of cake. 30 more minutes roll by, I'm built different. Another 30 minutes pass by, future, life is good. I went a whole hour and 30 minutes holding it in. My bowels were built mechanically correct. Plus I had 30 more minutes until class ends, so I thought that the last 30 minutes would be a breeze. Until I started feeling like crap. I was suffering in my chair trying to fight the pain because I really didn't want to go to the bathroom. But that did not last long because I ended up like SpongeBob when he went over Sandy's house.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
Surrounded by my disgusting toxic air created by my insides, I felt at peace. And you know, the most silent creatures on the planet are the people who are already sitting on the toilet when you enter the public restroom. I'm creatures. All right, y'all, so some of my most memorable times back in school were on the bus. Yes, the place where the impossible is possible. It is the place where I got into my first few fights, got introduced to drugs, but I politely declined, witnessed what true toxicity was, and the list goes on. Now, personally, I always sat in the middle or the back of the bus because those two sections had something that the front did not. Fun times. That's something you can't find in the front. It's impossible because the further back you go, the more toxic things get, which means more entertainment for everybody. let me break it down for you. The bus is like a body of communities. Up front, you got the gated community, the people that usually follow all the rules, the goody goodies. They try not to upset the guard, which is the bus driver. They keep to themselves and they don't bother nobody. Right behind them, you got the middle, aka the suburbs. In this section, you might have a little bit of the front, you might have a little bit of the back. At the end of the day, you make up the middle. Now, this section is usually where the toxicity starts, but it's a controlled toxicity, mostly because they're still not that far out of the driver's control. And lastly, we got the back of the bus, aka the trailer park. This is where all the ignorance happens. This section is usually made up of a bunch of immature little bastards that are rude, violent, and show no respect or empathy towards anybody. So didn't that make you a part of that group too? Hey, that's for me to know and them to find out. And that's why it was entertainment for me, because I can handle it. So if you couldn't handle the back or the middle of the bus back then just stay in the front. If you're from the front and they catch you in the back and you can't physically or verbally defend yourself, that means you in the wrong hood, homie. Now, even though it was toxic and I had a lot of fun times, there was this one time that got a tiny bit too chaotic. So this story takes place back when I was in elementary school and I was riding the school bus home one day, and as usual, me and the homies were in the back cutting up, having fun. And I get into a roast session with this one dude. Let's replace his real name. We're gonna call him Q. And we had been roasting each other for 20 minutes. So long to the point where things got a little bit personal. Shut up, boy. I know you ain't talking. I'm really about to flame your ass. How you 12 years old and already got hair on your face? You not 12, nigga. You 25.
Nigga, who you talking to? You cockeyed as hell. I can't tell if you're looking at me or the bus driver. Your left eye left to go get some milk and never came back.
It's funny you said that, cause your dad left you 12 years ago. He came back yet?
Oh, okay. So that's where we're taking this. Bet.
Dog, I remember this like it was yesterday. I kid you not. Q gets up, walks to the middle, and talks to this one dude. We're gonna replace his real name too. We're gonna call him Taylor. And he is instigating. And at first, I'm still thinking this is all a game. You know, we all having fun, despite this man's facial expression changing. And at the time, I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what instigating was. So I'm just thinking this is all fun and games. And I didn't take him serious, nor did I take Taylor serious. All while Q was talking down on me and lying on me, talking about, oh, I was talking about Taylor's mom and stuff like that. And I found out real quick that Taylor did not take that kindly. He took that to heart because it was his mama. I get it. I don't blame him. However, some people, when you talk about their mama, they let it slide as long as you don't touch their mama. But this dude, he wanted smoke regardless if you talked or touched, which again, I don't blame him. And that led to me arguing with Taylor, trying to tell him that I wasn't talking about his mama. He didn't care. And this argument lasted for about 2 minutes. And like I said, during this entire thing, I'm not taking Taylor serious at all because I'm thinking this is fun and games. But Taylor, on the other hand, was not playing at all. And as the argument's going, he's still denying the fact that I didn't say anything about his mama. So I'm just like, you know what? I did say something about your mama. What you gonna do about it? Then he was like, I'm finna whoop yo as soon as I get off this bus. And at first I'm thinking like, he ain't gonna do nothing. He probably don't even live in the same area that I live in. So I'm good, right? I'm fine. I'm safe, right? But then I remembered we live in the exact same apartment complex. And as soon as I thought of that, I got the picture very clear. And I really wanted to fight Q, but I had to save my energy just in case he wasn't bluffing. I ain't gonna lie, if I had the chance, I would have ran the ones with Q and popped a Zenzu bean afterwards and got ready for Taylor. But unfortunately, that was not the case. Cause after that, he sat back down in his chair. I sat in my chair quietly, shooketh to the core. 15 minutes later, my bus pulls up to my bus stop. We all get up to get out. And as soon as I get off the bus, I'm talking about the second I get off the bus, Taylor comes flying at me. And the first thing that came to mind before he landed the hit was, oh, he wasn't bluffing. And we get to scrapping. I'm talking about we scrapping for like 10 minutes. There was this one dude driving by us talking about something. Stop! Stop! We didn't stop. The dude goes to park his car, runs over to us, and breaks the fight up. And in my mind, I'm like, thank you. I didn't even want to be in this fight anyway. I didn't even say anything about his mama. Like, I don't know why I'm here. So I take my stuff and I dash. I get the burners, bro. I'll go back to the crib. I pull up to the house. I get in the house and I see my mom and I'm like, Mom, I got in a fight. But she was like, you did? Did you win? I think getting flamed in front of everybody gotta be the worst thing that can happen to you. Like, well, not the worst, but regardless, it ain't fun, bruh. I tell people all the time, keep them jokes on you because you never know when the enemy gonna pull up and embarrass you in front of either your little friends, randos that think you're a loser later, your haters, or worse, your crush. Happened to me all the time growing up. It still does. See, I look at it like a martial art that every man in school should learn because whether you like it or not, it's a part of school culture. It was the one thing that separated the men from the boys. Bro, if they had a class for roasting, you know how many niggas would sign up? Niggas. I probably would have failed the class though because there's a bunch of dudes way better at it than me walking around with roast power levels of like 100 billion. Those are the dudes you don't want to mess with. Like, you knew who to start it with and who not to based off of if you seen or heard them cooking before, especially the Black Roast Force kid. Y'all know who that is. That one kid that's like an S-tier roaster and got everybody laughing 24/7 and everybody know not to try him. And if he try you, be prepared to be embarrassed and not be able to do anything about it. Every school has one. You weren't finna catch me trying him. Are you crazy? If not a single soul tried to buck at Beerus after he smacked the hairline off of Vegeta for trying to buck, what make you think I'm finna buck at the Black Roast Force kid? And sometimes that ain't even matter because if they was losing the battle, they direct the attention of the roast onto somebody else to avoid embarrassment. That's what they do. They'll be like, boy, I know you ain't laughing. Then proceed to pull a Mustang. Fire your ass up. See, all my life, I was thrown in an environment where I was forced to learn how to roast people because if I didn't, I go home every day with 3rd-degree mental burns. Like at school, bruh, you can get roasted for literally anything. And sometimes just because somebody was bored. You come to school with mismatching brands on, you finna get fired up. You come to school with Assassin's Creed gloves on. You're the GOAT. I love Assassin's Creed, but you finna get fired up. Okay, maybe that's more accepted nowadays since, you know, everybody all of a sudden likes anime and video games and stuff now. Back in the day, they used to make fun of me for watching anime and playing Assassin's Creed and wearing gloves, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, do they make fun of y'all still nowadays in school? Let me know in the comment section. Anywho, you come to school flooding, you finna get fired up. If your barber forgot to alcohol your head after a cut and you come to school with the back of your head looking like a dread sponge, 1, sue that man, and 2, you might as well slap yourself on the grill cause you finna get barbecued. If you an easy target like I was and you so much as breathe in the direction of a roaster, go ahead and get ready to turn up the heat to 105 cause you finna get fired up, my boy. Now I'ma keep it 100. The only reason I was an easy target was because I had a fly mouth, tried to fit in by hanging out with the wrong people, and had many enemies because I'm a nerd who don't let nobody run over me like a doormat. And because of it, I got roasted just for existing. Like I always got pulled up on by ops of all kind. All the time, no matter where I was. I remember this one day back in high school. I was in 3rd period football. Our facility was getting worked on, so coach took us all to the PE gym to chill. I'm sitting at the top of the bleachers on the 2nd floor trying to finish some homework, right? Everybody downstairs, hee hee hee, ha, laughing and giggling, roasting each other for like 15 minutes. I'm trying to avoid everybody because I already don't like none of them up in there. Just me. That's how I wanted it. Next thing I know, I hear footsteps. Tell me why 15 of my teammates walk up the stairs to where I was, surrounded me, pulled up like the 10 Commandments did to Meliodas, and proceeded to barbecue cook my ass for no reason. And I'm not exaggerating this. 15 of my teammates surrounded me. I counted. I don't think y'all understand the amount of static you gotta shock into someone to have a bunch of people pull up on you like that. It's not normal. If it's a fight or anything, 1, I'm tiny. 2, boy, I am not tough. I'm finna channel my inner Jake Paul and get to stepping. Like, bro, this was a roast occur that I couldn't escape. So I stayed there and stood my ground. So I'm sitting there about to take the hits, nervous, hands shaking, legs quaking, irritated. Like, bruh, what now? state your business, cause I ain't with the coonery today. Which didn't matter, cause they were. Like, I already knew what the Rock was cooking, cause me and my teammates already had static from past experiences. They was getting personal, trying to break me mentally, talking about my looks, my status, my mama, my pops, my dreams, goals, my non-existent love life, all type of da-da-da. Word to my mother. So when none of that worked, they started physically threatening me, but not one of them touched me because they knew what type of timing I was on. My mindset with that was, if I'ma die, I'm taking at least one of you with me. And I was dead serious too. Somebody would have got that monkey chop to the throat. Now, did I win the 1v15? Hell no. What I look like, Madara? I can't take on all my ops at once. Bro, when coach told us to leave, boy, I came out that hole looking like Dobby. Came out that mug with 5th-degree burns. Shoo. See, this is why you always gotta max out your roasting skill, bruh, wherever you go, cause you never know what could happen. I don't know about y'all, but at my schools growing up, jokes were mandatory, cause roasting for us was like our sword and shield, cause we knew if your roasts could make everybody laugh, you won the battle and gained a new enemy. It wasn't no retiring roasting, bruh. You were stuck in that constant cycle until graduation. That was our thing. You live by the roast, you graduate by the roast. All right, y'all, so back in elementary school when I was 10, I was the nicest person you'll ever meet. But back then, I also had a very short temper. If I felt provoked in the slightest, then I'm slapping the tongue out your mouth with maximum efficiency. Yeah, I might get folded in the process, but at least I knew I had you speaking in cursive afterwards. I think one of the reasons why I had this temper problem is because I had to fight for my life at school every day. Like, I never understood why I was this primary target for character development, but I was forced to throw hands even when I ain't want to. Like, bro, leave me alone. This ain't Baki. Why y'all always want to throw hands on me when I ain't even do nothing to y'all? I can't never just sit in the back of the class, eat my little sour straws, and draw Mega Man in peace. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was smaller than everybody, or maybe they just wanted to take advantage of the fact that I was too nice. But I know one thing I know for sure. Going through this almost every day put me in a mixing mood, big fella. And for some reason, they always used to get pissed at me when I would retaliate. Like, don't get mad at me because my power level rose every day. Y'all made me a menace, not me. Y'all gotta understand, I grew up in the dirty South, man. All we knew how to do was fight and watch football and fuck our cousins. We don't do that. That's white people shit.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
So there was this douchebag at the time that I didn't become cool with until I got to high school. We're not gonna use his real name. We're gonna call him Uzi. Not this dude, but my Uzi. That's the nickname we gave him. Not gonna say why. That's for us that went to school with him to know and you to find out.
What was the reason? What was the reason?
See, I may have been a menace that might have been to society when provoked and pissed off, but this boy was an actual menace to society. At every opportunity, he went for the easiest target, which was usually somebody smaller than him, and he dared them to do something about it. And don't catch him on his days where he absolutely does not care. He would beef with anything for no reason. Like, I'm pretty sure if he saw a cute, adorable little puppy that just wanted to be petted, minding its own business, I'm pretty sure he would just politely punch him in his shoe. Like, dude, not Scooby. Bro just wanted a snack. There was this one time when I had first moved into town and it was my first time on the bus. And this was before my character development arc started. So I was very naive when it came to how twisted people can be. Cause at my old school, I ain't had these problems. I had a pretty normal experience. So I thought everyone in the world was just that way too. So I was openly nice with everybody. Plus, I was the new guy there. So I ain't know who to watch out for. I get on the bus, I head to the only seat that was open, which happened to be right across from Uzi. I get out my sketch pad, which had all of my drawings in it, and I started drawing, you know, minding my own business. See, I was a passionate artist. Each drawing was like my child. Some of my most prized possessions in that sketch pad were my Sonic the Hedgehog OCs. And I was pretty freaking good at drawing them too, cause Sonic was my childhood hero. I played all the games, watched all the shows, attempted to read all of the comics when I had the chance. I even changed my subconscious voice to Sonic. Dewey. Listen to all the soundtracks from each game, even to this day. Even made my own original storylines for my Sonic OCs. In my eyes, Sonic could do no wrong. Well, I mean, except for when they changed his voice. That actually pissed me off. I don't care what nobody says. Jason Griffith was and is the best Sonic voice of all time. Bring him back. Okay. I'm getting off a subject. Just wanted to point that out.
Bruh, shut your bitch.
So I'm sitting there drawing, right? Everybody around me looking in awe of these masterpieces I was making. They like, oh, ooh, ah, praising me for my art. Everybody like, yo, can I see it? I'm like, sure, of course. At this point, I'm passing around my art for people to look at like it's freaking candy. Next thing I know, Uzi look at me, he like, yo, you like a artist or something? Obviously. Yeah. Mind if I see the book so I can flip through the pages? I'm like, sure, of course. Soon as I hand him the book. Thanks. This mine now. Excuse me? Did I stutter? You not getting these back? Thanks. Dude, give me my drawings back. You mean my drawings? Like, get out of my face. I can't make this up. Before he even finished his sentence, I ain't asked no questions, I ain't beg, I ain't tucked my tail. I looked up to God, looked back down. Mink, mink. My fist just unconsciously connected with his face at the speed of light. Like, bro, it was insane. Before this, I ain't never felt anger like this in my life. This wasn't no regular anger. This was that tear dropping down the face type of anger. Buddy crossed the line with the wrong dude. I just wanted to get my stuff back by any means necessary. And the more he kept telling me no, I ain't getting my stuff back, the more pissed off I got. My fist had a mind of its own. Mink, mink. Mookie mop meek, mama, what you pack me for lunch? Without any thought of repercussions, cause it was my prized possession, which I had an emotional attachment to. So you know, I was livid, big fella. Like, y'all ever had something taken and forcefully held back from you? Especially if you had an emotional attachment to it? This must be how Kanye felt, bruh. It ain't a good feeling at all, cause you're very territorial about whatever that thing is. Like, that experience leaves you feeling violated, and this was the first time someone ever violated me like that. Yeah, sure, I know now that you should always control your anger and think before you do something, but understand that people don't think clearly when their emotions are running wild. So when I got furious, I blacked out. So my first instinct was to hit first, ask questions later. I wanted smoke. And only the smoke. All them teachings my folks taught me growing up about never hit first, let them hit you first, and then wake up Chris Breezy, I threw that out the window. And what makes matters worse is the bus driver didn't even acknowledge our fight. Like, he didn't stop the bus to stop the fight. He just looked at us two like, oh, just two black on black crime. Proceed. Which made me even more pissed off. So after like 3 minutes of throwing hands, I eventually got my sketch pad back. Don't get me wrong, neither of us won. It was a draw, but right afterwards, old white man stopped the bus. He's like, I'm finna write both of you up and get y'all off my bus. I'm like, why me though? He stole my art. What you wanted me to do? Be a good boy and let him take it? You saw the whole thing and kept driving. You should have parked and came to stop the fight. You worried about the wrong destination. Uzi just looked forward and was smiling like a little evil prick. Bus driver's like, our school has a zero tolerance policy. All altercations will result in a write-up, sending you to alternative school. If there was a problem, you should have came up there and told me. I'm like, dude, you was watching the whole time. You seen what happened. You seen I was getting angry. You seen the problem, but you did nothing. He just walk away. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm like, what the fudge? Bro, I'm just trying to go home and eat some oatmeal and watch Chalk Zone, dog. Golly.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
My brothers and sisters, what do you think when you see these two fingers? Special beam cannon? No, you mother... Get out of here, Gohan. All right, y'all. If you ain't innocent or lived under a rock your whole life, then you probably know what these two fingers do. If you don't, then shoot. I'll tell you a variety of things they do, my nigga. Hand people credit cards, reach in that spot in the car where you drop your phone, flick lima beans, wink wink, air quotations. And one of my favorites, ripping the skin off your neck. Not like actually ripping the skin off your neck, unless you motherfucking Wolverine, but when them two fingers get dragged across your neck at 200 miles per hour, that mug hurt. I got introduced to this punishment during my middle school years, and it lasted all the way up until my 11th grade year of high school, which is also the year I quit football. I ain't gonna lie, throwing balls around was the last thing I wanted to do after all them years of mental torture. Throwing balls around? Pause? the punishment was simple. If you said something stupid, give me my 2. Not only that, but if you ain't submit to the consequences of your said stupidity, then the current consequences would level up to the higher consequence, which was what I like to call the Fleece Johnson. We could do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours. Yeah, that dude from the Boondocks, the Booty Warrior, who is an actual real person. To sum it up for the people having a slow moment right now, either you voluntarily bring your butt over there to let your punishers let it rip on your neck, or they gonna come get you now or after workouts. And when no running, your fate was sealed. And this only happened to niggas that they knew wasn't gonna throw no hands. I'm niggas. I remember my first time getting the punishment. It was not good. It happened one day during football training period in middle school. So there I was, minding my business. It was that little bit of time before a coach walks in where you couldn't tell if the room was full of rabid, wild middle schoolers or the zoo because of how chaotic it was. And even though I was minding my own business, you couldn't help but pay attention to the loudest people in the room, which happened to be this guy I've talked about in past videos before, where we're gonna call him AZ, and another guy named, we're gonna call him BJ. Now, I'm a loud nigga myself, but my loudness dwarfs in comparison to these two class clowns. See, Riri and Tard were slightly similar. AZ did things for attention and validation from others, probably because a little dickhead didn't get no loving at home. If nobody laughed or praised him for his accomplishments, then he'd try harder by using his size as an intimidation factor. And yes, he would physically harm you if he knew you wasn't gonna do nothing back, which is crazy because he wouldn't dare think about picking on somebody who was ready to throw hands and words back. BJ, on the other hand, was just an annoying little dude that just wanted a reaction out of as many people as possible, and ain't care how he did it or who he did it to. He was one of them people who'd say the craziest thing to anybody just to see if he could control you, and depending on how you'd respond, he'd back up or keep going. Little dude had his observation hockey on 24/7. Bruh, they both were on minutes timing 25/8, literally all the time. So I'm hearing them both in that big old group of dudes cutting up, roasting each other, acting like they were the top dogs of the school, which at the time, I ain't gonna lie, that's where I wanted to be, trying to be like the quote unquote cool guys. You know, the folks that be the most quote unquote popular in school, but peak in high school and eventually end up being more of a loser in their adulthood than they already were in high school. Bro, don't look at me like that. You know, everybody wanted to be him in high school. Shoot, I don't care. I was an outcast most of my life, so when I got to middle school, that was my top priority, to be quote unquote popular, because of all the neglect I experienced from outside of my home. And even then, I was still an outcast up until my high school graduation. So with this mindset I had back then, the coonery pulled me in. I'm creeping up, listening to what's being said, ended up acting like my presence and input was wanted. So I made a joke that made absolutely no sense. Had everybody looking at me crazy. In my head, I thought I ate. Had my brain doing the Dougie and the two-step. Really thought I was Bernie Mac. And this was when I realized I should never do stand-up, because I ain't hear a laugh. I heard, give me my 2. I'm sitting there like, what you mean by that? He tell me, don't ask, come find out. Mind you, everybody in the room watching as if this was normal, like this was a freaking tradition. Not a soul in there thought this was a bad thing. Like that ain't do nothing but get my anxiety up even more than it already was. But mama ain't raised no hoe. So being the hard gangster I was, I did what any stand-up, chest out, 10-toed soldier would do. I looked him in his eyes and said, okay. Folded like a hoe. I walked over there and submitted like a pussy, bruh. Tilted my neck over ready for this nigga's fingers to Zenitsu Godspeed my skin, boy. I felt like I was in prison, bruh. And I ain't ever been there before. You know how embarrassing it would be if school had a judge and a dude was like, you have been sentenced to the neck. And a big motherfucker walk out with 2 fingers like, bro, what? All I know is me now at 23, almost 24 this year, could never. They would have freaked around and found out.
Out of all the bad situations I've been in growing up, I somehow managed to get out of majority of them because of my mom. Never knew how, but she always worked the magic when it came down to it. She's the type of person that don't take crap from anybody. She always fights for what's right and demands respect because she knows her worth and is a leader at heart, a real shepherd amongst sheep. Now don't let this 5'1" light-skinned lady with an innocent face fool you, because outside my family, if you push her to the edge, you might lose your head. At first glance, she's like a Kirby with a knife and black Air Force Ones. But on the inside, she's like a lion with a knife in black Air Force Ones. When you're on her good side, she's the coolest person to be around. But when you push her to the point beyond anger, she doesn't yell, she doesn't fuss, she gets quiet. And you got two choices, either get destroyed verbally or physically. She'd tell you what she was gonna do, then she'd do it. And it was not a threat, it was a promise. She got me out of so many bad situations that I was starting to wonder, like, what can't she do? I told you not to eat the cookies, you ungrateful boy. It hurts so bad. I won't eat my brother's school snacks anymore. All right, Ma, come on, let's speed this up. Cowboy Bebop starts at 12. Son of a bitch! Yeah, disciplining me physically was not her strong suit. Like, it never hurt. That's why she always got the man that beat her doonies down to create me, my brother, and sister to do it for her. My dad. Back when I was 16, one morning I got to school. I was walking through the parking lot with this group of strangers, and this one dude that was on the football team with me, we're gonna name him Nate. Anywho, as we're all walking towards the building, the strangers didn't provoke me in any way. I didn't have any problems with them because they didn't know me. Like, I just gave them a... And that was about it. Nate, on the other hand, decides to walk up to me and starts running his mouth for no reason, just to start controversy, because in his tiny brain, he always saw me as an easy target because I was the quiet kid. He was one of those people that everywhere he went, he caused chaos for his own social benefit by picking on people he thought was beneath him. Nate ran his mouth for the longest, and I ignored and warned him for the longest, to the point where he got hostile, like he wanted to fight me. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, leave me alone. Now, I knew for a fact I could drop this dude because at the time, because of football putting me through so much intense weightlifting and conditioning since I was 13, I was built like a 300 Spartan and had been fighting majority of my life. He was built like the cinnamon stick man off the Applejacks commercials. Cinnamon, y'all know who I'm talking about. Like, I don't know why bro was over there playing with me like I wouldn't drop him on the spot, over there built like a dirty Q-tip. Nate, leave me alone. This ain't what you want. And if I don't, what you gonna do about it? Look, I don't like you, and I don't want to see you. Now, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours. Boy, stop playing with me. Like, I really slap you in front of everybody right now. Oh, really? Do it then, stupid bitch. Before he could hit me, I took my bag off so quick and I hit him with a like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, snap, he knocked the Sonic rings out that boy. 2 minutes later, an administrator saw us fighting and went to go get the security. So security pulls up, breaks up the fight, and sends us to the office. Now, when I get to the office, they call my mom and tell her what happened. Then she asked them to give me the phone, and when I told her what really happened, she was pissed. Who hit first? He did. What? Her anger didn't come from me being in the fight. It came from these administrators trying to send me to alternative school, which is like jail for school kids, because of their stupid rule. Their rule was if you got in an altercation, then both parties are going to alternative school regardless of who hit first, which is the dumbest rule I've ever seen in my life. Like, why not defend yourself? What if you can't run away? They would rather you get hit and run away to an administrator than defend yourself. Couldn't be me. So now my parents gotta leave work, waste their time, gas, and money just to come down here because the principal wanted a conference with them on my punishment. And from what my dad told me after all this happened, when my mom heard that they were trying to send me to alternative school, she woke up and chose Black Air Force activity. Unlike my dad, who tried to make a calm approach with this situation, trying to reason with them, my mom understood that you can't reason with people like that. So she raised all hell when it came to her child because I was in the right. 15 minutes later, my parents pull up. My mom busts through the door, grabs me, marches straight to the principal's office, and we're gonna call the principal Milk Dud because I don't remember his name, and his head was shaped like a milk dud / kneecap. Ma'am, What's wrong with you? Did you not hear the situation? Ma'am, I'm just doing my job. Are you not the principal? Do you not have power under the superintendent? Why did you make me do this, Milk Dud? He was defending himself. That little rugrat threw the first punch, so it's only right that he defends himself. My son ain't no punk. That rule is stupid. It's not right and you know it. Why does he have to get alternative school for something he didn't even start? I will sue the school if I have to. Y'all really starting to piss me off. I'm about 2 seconds from jumping over this desk and whooping yo. Everything good? Yes, ma'am. All right. Have a great day. I don't know what she did to make them have a change of heart, because from the looks of it during the conference, it looked like he wasn't gonna change my sentence for nothing. But somehow, instead of getting alternative school for 2 weeks, they gave me 5 days of in-school suspension instead. Did I just get a prison sentence reduced to probation? Big dub. W's in chat for mine. So I remember this one day back in 11th grade during football practice. I got in trouble because I was slacking. And you know what happens in football? If one person gets punished, we all get punished. Our coach, this tall, old, white country dude, looked like he had about 2 on the way. Water looked like it would have broke at any minute. We're not gonna use his real name. We're gonna call him Coach Adderson. He had us do this punishment drill where we had to put a 45-pound weight on the ground and push it across the turf from one side of the gym to the other in a specific form just to make it hurt. And he was like, the more you stop and take a break, the longer you'll do it. Do y'all know how hard it was to do this drill if you weren't strong enough? Like, you had to put a 45-pound weight across the turf that was parched. That means that traction on the ground about to be vicious. Luckily for me though, I was strong enough to push it with ease, so that little drill ain't put no fear in me. I'm from that splat. I was headed up to commies every day, putting in that diesel. Only one problem though, I ain't want to, even though I had to. Mans really caught me on menace timing. You would have thought I had the black song. Whole time, I was already in a bad mood, looking for trouble because I had to show up every day, suffering, going to a place where the coach gave me the Oscar the Grouch treatment because of my past mistakes, even though I was one of the strongest and most improved people at the time, because I took the initiative to stop overthinking and improve my game. Bruh, I got so better over the years to the point where almost every time I touch the field, I make either a touchdown or a lot of yards. But this nigga still didn't give me as much playtime as the 2 meat riders in front of me that were running backs too. They must have really wanted a gumball, Benson. I used to hear people in the stands all the time get mad at him for taking me out after I made a touchdown or a lot of yards, but this nigga did not care. Because in his peanut brain, because of my past mistakes, he intentionally held my playback time back even when I did good just to not risk it, and held high expectations for me every time I did good consecutively. But the second I mess up, you're trash, you're dog water, you're actually bad, you're boo-boo, retire, buy a dog, die alone, absolutely butt cheeks. But if the meat riders mess up, then oh, it's okay. You work real hard today, boys. Why don't you go ahead and get yourself a gumball? Oh, matter of fact, grab 2. Be gentle. I got so sick of trying to get his validation, bruh. Eventually, lost passion for the game, hit my breaking point, and decided to quit. Had me feeling like Gohan in the Cell games, talking about some you feel me? I wanted to wait to quit though, so I could keep them benefits of being in the sport as long as possible until it was time for me to fly off with Shinron. That day, I was the definition of a middle finger to everybody in that room, cause they were a part of the problem too. All morals and selflessness were out the window, bruh. I was in a dark place like Anakin when Obi-Wan dropped that nigga and left him by the lava. I'ma keep it a thou wow with y'all. I did not care if they were suffering down there pushing on plates. I was just ready to bounce to the crib and bust down on some chicken noodle soup. So I did what any person on Black Air Force Energy Menace to Society timing would probably do. BS. While everybody else was exerting their energy trying to be Lightning McQueen, I was over there chilling on purpose, moving my plate like the snail from Monsters University. I knew Buddy was gonna get mad. That's why I did it. And I did it until he started noticing. And when he did, Buddy started tweaking. Bruh, he was more frustrated than an ostrich doing 60 on a highway. This is exactly what happened after. Okay, everybody stop and go back to work. Devonte, get over here. What are you doing? Your wife? The drill? No, you're not. You're doing it wrong. The correct form is like this. Do it right or I'm benching you the next game and pick up the pace. Okay. You know somebody numb when they show absolutely no expression whatsoever when they respond to you. So then I BS'd again. Next thing I know, 5 seconds later, coach pushes me to the ground with his full grown man force and did the drill. Mans didn't lower his power level at all. My very first reaction was, I gotta bury this nigga. I have no choice at this point. I had anger issues back then, so the only thing on my mind was murder. Self-defense. I felt embarrassed, confused, angry, and shocked all in 2 seconds because I didn't expect this man to do something like that. Like, dang, calm down, Phil. Why not just send me home? It took every bone in my body to keep me from running the fade on this nigga, man. So you know what I did? I beat him up, stomped him out, slapped him with a 10-pound weight, poured milk on his head, stomped him out again, took a dump on the nigga. I ain't do none of that. I'm just playing. Eventually, I realized the consequences that would come after the fade if I saw it through, and instead, I thought to myself, you know what? Forget waiting. I'm done. Slid to the locker room, got my stuff, and bounced to the crib. So the next day, I parted ways with the football team. And even though he and a lot of my teammates did me wrong, I shouldn't have tried to get revenge on them after making me suffer, because that only led to more chaos. And I shouldn't have quit when things got hard or unfair. That's not how winning's done. Best believe my parents were pissed that I quit, but I don't regret it. Because honestly, I ain't really want to play football anymore anyway, you know? I just lost the passion. However, God closed one door just to open up another, which gave me a lot more free time to chase my true love. Content creation. We all had a favorite sport growing up. My main four was skateboarding, wrestling, basketball, and football. What was yours? My first love, despite my height, was basketball, because during my childhood, I always dreamed of being in the NBA because of my two inspirations, 2008 Chicago Bulls Derrick Rose and 2012 Chicago Bulls Nate Robinson. Now, not gonna lie, in my elementary and middle school days, I was doo-doo brown water. Trash. Actually bad. Nigga, I had Flight Reacts' premium deluxe exclusive package. I was a 55 overall with 0 badges. During them years, the only thing I was good for was popping threes anywhere on the court. I was like Steph Curry, but without the skill and the height. I couldn't dribble. I couldn't make layups. My basketball IQ was terrible. I was so bad that the only playtime I got was the last 30 seconds of the 15-minute games we played at practices. I was so bad that I averaged negative 20 points per game. How do you average negative 20 points per game? I need to retire. But with my burning passion for winning and my undeniable will to never give up after taking so many L's over the years, despite my height, 5'6", by the time I got to high school, I became extraordinary at the sport over time. And I also played football at the time, so that helped out too. Every L, every embarrassment, every discouragement led to me sharpening my skills even more. There's nothing more satisfying than playing a sport that isn't made for you and still being not built different, but being built actively superior. But see, here's the thing. I tried out for the basketball team 6 times throughout my childhood. 2 times in middle school when I was still terrible, and 4 times in high school after becoming built actively superior. However, despite being actively superior over everyone over time when I got to high school, I never made any of the teams because of 3 things. Favoritism, my bad first impression from middle school that stuck with me up until high school, and the bane of my existence, anxiety. If you experience this, you know how I feel. Anxiety was the one thing that limited me in every aspect of my life. I really can't say much about middle school, but during the end of high school, when it came to playing some randoms in PE class that were actually good, I dominated. I was a great player. But at actual tryouts, I was always in my head because of the past traumatic L's I took. The sheer lack of confidence in my abilities on real teams because of my anxiety were the sole reasons why at majority of the tryouts, I was still a terrible player. I worried worried more about trying to not mess up the drills than I did trying to actually do the drills correctly. I worried more about trying to look like I knew what I was doing than just doing it by nature. I don't know, bruh. I just couldn't tap into that same actively superior ability from PE class when I got to tryouts. I struggled with this from the time I walked onto a middle school court and up to the time I walked off a high school court for the very last time. My most memorable tryout of the 6 was the 3rd ever basketball tryouts. I remember it was 9th grade year, I was 15, and all summer I had been sharpening my skills after 2 years of embarrassment. I was chilling outside the building, and before I went inside the gym, I thought I was in my bag. I found out real quick that high school basketball was way different than what I was used to at the time. Bruh, I felt like a lucky college player fresh into the NBA with no prior NBA knowledge. I walked inside and I saw this one annoying nigga named AZ that made my early school years a struggle. Like, I've known this dude since 4th grade, and AZ was the type of person that would do anything at any cost just to make himself look good around other people. Like, he was the loudest person in the room. He always picked on people that were easy targets and were not his size. Anybody that didn't know how to roast back, anybody that didn't know how to fight, anybody that didn't have a status, anybody that was smaller or weaker than him, you name it, he went for it. Not even 30 seconds after I walked inside, the first thing I hear from him was, "You might as well take your ass home. You don't belong here." And for a split second, I played tug of war with my nerves like, should I ignore it or rip this nigga's lungs out his chest? You got lucky this time. So after the stretches and free hooping, coach walks in like, "Let's go." We're gonna call him Coach Taylor. Now, honestly, I ain't like Coach Taylor, but that's for another story. He walked in, gathered everybody together, did the roll call for everybody, and tells everybody to get ready for running and drills. And for all my people out there that are watching this and are thinking about trying out, take notes on what I'm about to say. In basketball tryouts, at first, what the coach looks for is, are you coachable? Are you able to do the basics successfully, like layups, passings, anything of that nature? And most importantly, can you do basic defense? Secondly, are you good at the game in an actual game versus just doing the drills right? That's why coaches after drills and runnings always be doing 5-on-5s just to test that theory. Most people see those 5-on-5s as just 5-on-5s, but don't be fooled. Those tryout 5-on-5s are just an indirect way for the coaches to predetermine who's already going to be on the team. If you do great on a 5-on-5, you might as well just pick up a jersey because you already on the team, my boy. Before we started the 5-on-5, we did layup and defense drills. We all got in the line. I was confident, calm, and collected. The only thing that was on my mind was don't mess up, just lay up the ball and keep it pushing. So when I got to the front of the line, bruh passed me the ball and I ran down the court. So many eyes were staring at me because of my middle school days, because they were the same boys I went to the middle school with, and I hated every single one of them. When it came to the judgment of basketball skill, they were cutthroat. Hey, I don't gangbang, but these dudes were technically my ops. Even so, I ain't let nothing bring me down. So I get to the hoop and I lay up the ball. I missed the freaking layup. Forgive me, guy sensei. How do you train for 3 months and still can't make a layup? Bruh, my anxiety shot up to the roof. The pain I felt running back to that line was something I'll probably never forget, because the moment I missed that layup, I had flashbacks to middle school when the same thing happened. For the rest of the drills, my whole body was shaking and I was in my head. Like I said before, I was worried more about not trying to mess up the drills than I did actually trying to do the drills correctly. All the niggas I went to middle school with looked at me like, some things don't change, do they? And Coach Taylor was disappointed. And after that, it was like a domino effect. I did horrible in defense drills, the playmaking drills, the pull-up jumper drills, everything after. It was most definitely torture, and that same anxiety and chain of mess ups carried all the way into the 5-on-5s. Crunch time. Of course, on my team, I got picked last, but honestly, I didn't care at that point because it was clear as day that I wasn't gonna make it. But this was my last chance to fight my anxiety and show coach the real progress I made over the summer. Team 3, you up? My anxiety was still the size of a planet, but it was my time to shine and I ain't have no time to waste. I was shaking like a wet dog at a pool party because I knew I had to do something spectacular to the ops before I left there with the element of surprise. A pull-up jumper on the ops, an ankle breaker on the ops maybe. I gotta pull something out the bag. Shoot, they already think I'm garbage when I'm not. I'm just in my head. I get on that court and we start the game with a full court press, and I ain't gonna lie, nobody passed the ball to your boy for about a good 5 minutes. I was about one step away from just walking off the court because at this point, I'm just prolonging the inevitable and wasting my time because I knew well that I'm already cut from the team until somebody actually passed me the ball. When I tell you that in the 5 seconds that I had the ball in my hand, I've never panicked so hard in my life. I had two choices, either pass the ball or pull up on the ops from the three-point line. I went with the catch and shoot jumper, but I was losing my mind because I knew if I missed this shot, I would never get the ball passed to me again and would have to retire for good. So I put every ounce of energy I had into that one shot. I really pulled up on the ops at basketball practice. I may have made that one shot during tryouts, but a week later, I got cut from the roster. That same day, I went home and I cried my eyes out in my dad's arms because I really wanted to just be on an official basketball team for once in my life. Every year after that I tried out, I got better and better, dominating everybody at the local basketball gym and PE class, but the same anxiety cycle that destroyed my gameplay whenever I tried out for an actual team repeated every year, and I suffered getting cut from the team every year because of it. If you're somebody out there watching this that deals with anxiety of any kind like I do, here's a tip that I've been using ever since my first year at college to free myself of this anxiety. Constantly put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Whatever causes that anxiety that you're feeling, put yourself in it and fight it to build that confidence so that same anxiety that once ruled your life will slowly leave. Because remember this, pressure makes diamonds. See, anxiety is like a bully. It'll continue to torment you until you put your foot down and stand up for yourself. Only difference between anxiety and a real bully is that anxiety don't got no body to fight you with them hands. It's all in the mind, y'all, which if trained properly is the strongest asset we have. I'd rather have a strong mind than a strong body. So remember, constantly put yourself in uncomfortable situations, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, so that you can train your mind to overcome that anxiety. Because remember, pressure makes diamonds.